For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. This is actually an incredibly stunning and radical statement to find in this ancient text. I did a little digging and I tried to ask, okay, what was the sentiment of the time in both Greek and Jewish thought? And you had many Greek philosophers like Aristotle who wrote extensively about the family life. But in the Greek world, the man, the husband, was the king of the castle, and everyone in the household was there to serve him and his needs. So the wife, the children, the servants, it was all focused on serving the man of the house. So that's what you would find in the Greek philosophy. You would never see something like this in one of their texts. The Jews were maybe a little better, but they still swung the balance toward the man. And the Jewish rabbis would talk about how both man and woman have certain obligations to one another, but the woman had more obligations toward the man than the man had toward the woman. So the balance was still swung heavily toward the man. Paul comes along and he blows the whole thing up. He says, no, actually, we're going to level the playing field. In a marriage, you are equal partners in this covenant. And then fascinatingly, he uses this word authority. It's the Greek word exousia, which is the typical word for authority you find all throughout the New Testament. And this is the only text in the New Testament that has this word authority applied to our relationship between men and women. And he doesn't say, man, you have authority over the woman. He says, you both have equal authority over each other's body. It's radical. As I think about what would that mean, it's thinking back to the day that I stood in front of hundreds of people, married Melanie, and I said I do. From that moment on, I am no longer permitted to think about myself or to act as though I'm single in any way. In all spheres of my life, I'm not allowed to go out and just start acting or thinking like I'm single because I've made this bond of marriage with Melanie. I belong to her and she belongs to me. Think again how this would have landed with that more ascetic group in Corinth. Because again, I know this comes off a little harsh to our ears, but if you're talking to a group of people who say, even within marriage, it's more holy to abstain completely from my partner in any kind of physical relationship, Paul is saying, no, if you've made a bond, a commitment, a covenant with a partner, if you've been called into marriage, then you actually have to live that out. That's a part of your calling now.